Hello everyone, and welcome. Happy New Year. This is the first live stream of 2025, and I'm really excited to dive with you today in some more wonderful animation topics. We're going to continue working on this animation that we started a little while ago, this 3D animation in Blender. And we have a pretty solid blocking at the moment. Let me show you real quick what we left it with. And then we're going to start from there and continue to work on this. Let's set this to frame 1. And this is what we have so far. You should be able to hear the sound. Please let me know if everything is working, if you can hear me well, music is not too loud, not too quiet, and most importantly, you should be able to hear the dialogue right here. So let's play this real quick.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Yeah, that's where we left off. I think I would call this blocking pretty much done, of course, with some distance now. I see a couple things where I'm like, maybe we could tweak that here and there, but we'll get into that as we go through it. As always, I just want to have a fun and a little bit educational time with you here. So if there's anything you want to know about how to animate, anything art and animation related, character design, storytelling, stuff like that, just feel free to ask in the chat, and I would be very happy to get into any and all topics. It could also just be talking about some awesome animation that we have seen over the holidays. That's always fun too, because watching animation films is research. Very important. We will of course continue to work on this animation that I showed you just now, and I will continue to share my thought process, my workflow, and my tips and tricks and stuff that I learned over the years. I will tell you all about it. And if you have any questions about anything that I'm doing on screen, just feel free to ask. Use the chat is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, really excited to get into that. Let's make sure you also see what I'm doing here on screen. Let me out of this. Yeah, full screen here. So, oh, thank you, Fia. That's a really nice comment. Really happy to hear. I love doing content. I would like to do lots more content than I have time and money that I can afford to do, but I'll do my best to, of course, bring you all more animation tutorials, more live streams, more of all of the good stuff that we have on this channel on our website for 2025. So we have now a pretty solid blocking, if I say so myself. And now it's time to actually let the computer interpolate and bring some smooth motion into the game. Commonly, this process is referred to as splining, when you start to work on the animation curves. We're actually right before that step, because if we switch this to curves, I mean, we could do that real quick. I'm going to show you. If we just switch what we have to curves, it's going to look horrible. So let's have a look at that real quick. So if you remember, this is the blocking.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
It's choppy but on point, you know? We have these certain poses that we want to hit, and it feels kind of snappy. Like your brain can almost guess what an awesome animation would look like around these poses, and now we have to put the awesome animation in, and the risk is that we ruin the strong poses. I hope they're strong. The poses that we found, we shouldn't mud them up. And if we just let me do that real quick. If we would just take everything, select everything, and just switch it to splining, we will see some very worrying interpolation that will take like basically all the snappiness, all these decisions that we did out of it, and will make it very, very muddy. If I switch this right now to keyframe type, no, where is it? And interpolation mode, and we just switch it to Bezier, we get this.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
There's actually a moment, because we set so many keyframes here, that actually looks quite finished.
Beyond all doubt.
But everything else is very flowy. And if you're just starting out with 3D animation, you probably find yourself battling with this flowiness, even if you don't go into it completely naively. And you know, like the problem that we have right here is that we don't have holds. Even if you start setting holds, you might have moments in your animation that just feel
malice in that voice, and there never is.
Cushiony.
There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing?
Very soft. And one way to prevent that, one prevention that we can do before we jump into splining, is to really set some crisp holds. I'm a big fan of holding good poses, because you know we spent a lot of time developing these poses. You could see that in one of the previous live streams that we did, and I really want to make sure that these poses are seen. So I think we should be very proud in these poses that we found and hold them, and it will immediately improve the floatiness that we currently have all over. So shall we let the spline? We could leave the splines on. Usually I don't do this. Usually I don't switch to splines now, but I think if we keep the splines, we're gonna see a little more clearly what we're doing. So first of all, I want to make a trip into the preferences, because we set the animation default interpolation to constant, you know, which is the blocking. We don't want the computer to interpolate. Now we can switch that to Bezier, because if we now add new keyframes, we want those to already have Bezier curves. So let's do that. And auto clamped, I'm not entirely sure about the handles. We're gonna experiment with that in a little bit and see what we can use best, because personally, oh yeah, here's a little bit of a disclaimer. I haven't animated in 3D in a really long time. This is like, you know, I'm running on my you never forget how to ride a bicycle kind of thing. And I have done a lot of interpolation in 2D rigs and 2D animation. So I do kind of sort of know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm a big, you might know that if you've watched anything on this channel, I'm a big frame-by-frame animation fan, and this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. But, you know, you need to challenge yourself every now and then. And the principles, and that's the beautiful thing, are the same. No matter if you are working in 2D, 3D, stop motion, cutout animation, the workflows and rules and epiphanies that you gather over the years, they kind of stay the same. Like, you can usually apply most of what you learned in another form of animation. And then, you know, you can still improve. You can get routine, you can get a better feel and speed and how to do that quickly in a new kind of technology. But yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, Pixel Perspective talks about step to splinophobia. Yeah, that's a very common thing. Like, spline can really make things look a lot different than you thought they would, and then you spend a lot of time trying to save it. But I promise you, with the setting the holds, what we're going to do next, we're already going to recover a lot of what the stepping had. Hello, Hilly. Nice to see you just on break. Yeah, enjoy your break. And cool, yeah, would be honored if you checked in the VOD. But yeah, with that, I think there's no more excuse. We have to start here. So.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of...
So. I kind of want the character to just stay leaned back. You know, maybe there is a little bit of a moving hold. We're going to get into that later. There's a big danger that if you think about moving holds too early, it's going to bring a lot of this floatiness in. I personally like to do my animation completely without moving holds first, because it's such a fine detail. I feel like, you know, we need to work rough to fine. We need to make the basic animation work first before we can worry about like breathing or the character settling in the chair a little bit. Like, those are things that I'm going to push onto later. And I hope you've already seen that in my workflow. I always try to go from rough to finer in passes, you know, doing the entire thing one time through, then adding the next thing, then adding the next thing, then adding the next thing. So the holds that we are going to add now are just dead holds. Nothing should move. And of course, we're not doing lip syncing yet either. That would, of course, continue to work here. So all we have to do, go to a frame. We could make sure that everything is keyed on this keyframe that we are holding. So let's hold it real quick on all channels, and then we use the summary bar that you have in most animation software that has keyframing. We're gonna copy that frame and we're gonna hold it. I generally put things as long as possible on odd frame numbers, so I'm gonna put it here for now, and you will see that we have hold,
isn't there a little bit of malice in...
And then we have this overshoot. And this one, I also want to hold before we go back. So I'm going to take this frame again, make sure that everything is keyed on all channels, copy that, hold it till like 57, and then give it a moment to drop down. So just by adding these holds, we get this here.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And
yeah, and then of course it continues to float. Again, we don't want this to move. This is an anticipation for this big turn, so it should probably start kind of briefly before everything starts moving. So basically what I'm doing is I'm starting at the pose that I want to hold. Then I go to the next pose, check what that is, and very often you just want to go a couple frames back like this and place it here. So you have all this here is hold time. All this here is hold time. All this here is hold time. We're holding for quite a long amount of time.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And
it's gonna still look very mechanical, but you can see how it's already a lot more focused.
and there never is. There.
Okay, same here with the hand. So with that one, we could just, I would assume that this is the hand. And then at some point it's being flipped over. Let's see.
And there never is. There really.
So this might actually be a continuous flow that we should have counteracted in blocking. So let's see what happens here. Let's bake this for now. All channels, because I'm pretty sure that my trick here is not gonna, that's probably not what we envisioned here to happen.
There never is. There really never is.
Oh, maybe it is. Let's see.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
Okay, and one thing we also don't account for yet is overlap. So we have right now, because we only set like 1 big keyframes for everything, we don't have things starting and stopping at the same time. So here you see that the hand is already doing a drastic drop here, and that's probably not what we want. We don't want the hand to drop before the body starts moving. So for now, I'm going to leave it like this, but I'm going to keep in mind that there's probably some work that we need to put into this. So
there really never is.
So what is that I...
And this one was off screen. So chances are this is not actually a frame that I wanted to hit, you know, because we cut away. So most likely I wanted to hold this one till right before the cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to key this. And I'm going to put it right before the cut. So here we have a hold.
There really never is.
So what is that I...
There really never is.
So what is that
Okay, we're gonna take care of the other character later. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Did you make and animate the character? A question from Thomas Media. Did you make it and then animate Ricket? No, this is a character called Lunte, and the other character, she's called Gabby from Blender. They have a bunch of free rigs to use on their website, and there also is a cloud subscription where you can get all the assets from all the films that the Blender studio made. But these 2 rigs are actually free. Yeah, Lunte and Gabby are freely available on blender.org. I think you can find them. And yeah, they're pretty good. But you should absolutely only use them in Blender 3. What I'm using 3.6. Well, in Blender 3, those were made for Blender 3. In Blender 4, unfortunately, a lot of the things don't quite work as they should.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing?
Is this one more? Is this one too many shakes? Kind of already getting carried away here.
There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
Okay, same thing here. This is the pose that we want to start with. Right now, I'm not going to worry about what the character is doing while the camera is not on facing him. So let's just hold him. This is actually a hold. So let's put it up all the way and then make sure that he only starts moving after the cut.
Simply being.
Okay, well, what is happening here? I would assume that some of the axes went a little bit wild. That's unfortunate, but it's good. It's actually good that that happens, because that stuff can really trip you up when you jump over it the first time. So, oh my, this is embarrassing. I made a big mistake here. So, look at the arm. At the moment, the arm, there's like a little nudge here. Can you see that? That nudge pointing to the left. In this pose, what we have designed here, the nudge is pointing to the left. If we play a little bit, the nudge is now pointing up. So we messed up the axis here. And this especially happens with cartoony characters, because if you have more realistic characters, like if you have a character that actually has, like, you know, a biceps and you kind of can see where the top is, where the underside is, this is less likely to happen. But if you just have like a tube, you don't know, in a noodle, you don't know where it points up. And it is not relevant for the pose. Like, both poses look nice because I could bend one point of the noodle and then bend the other point of the noodle. But if I animate it, it now reveals that where the biceps is in the one pose is another position than where the bicep is in the other pose. And that is actually the reason why the animator, well, the rigger, put these nudges into the arm. So you can see which side is pointing up or to the side. I have to confess, I don't know where this nudge is supposed to be for Lunte. So we need to check that real quick. Let's go back to frame, one of the minus frames, and select everything. Here we can clear transform on everything, and then we can confirm if he's stretching out. That's actually the side of the arm. So the biceps would be at the part that isn't marked. So this would be considered the top. If you do, like, you know, if you lift the up arm up to the sky and you show your biceps, this would be the top. And keeping that in mind, we can now check which pose was the right one and which pose we messed up. Let's see. So I would argue that the biceps is supposed to be here. So this pose is correct. And this pose is not correct. Oh boy. So one thing we could do here is to reset the rotation and see where we land with that. If we go to, yeah, I now only have this bone selected. I go to clear transform all, and yeah, this could actually be a lot worse. So we're rotating this one over. This is the actual biceps top. And then we're bringing this one down. And the other arm is incorrect too. I wonder why we don't notice that as much. Okay, so did we have auto key on? Yes, we did. It's still going crazy. Okay, then maybe it's actually a shoulder or it's making 180-degree turns. That is also a possibility, or maybe even a 360 turn. So for that, we have to look at the values. And you can already see that it's going from a 400-degree turn Where does this start? Okay, here. So this is probably to blame. This is probably the offending pose. Then we cut away, which is good, because during the cut we can fix things. And here we can make sure that we're doing it right. Well, let's just put -60 in it and see what happens. Ah, not too bad, not too bad. Can we actually calculate -360 degrees? Did you see that? I am smart. Okay, so yeah, that's how you... Oh no, we added it. Okay, I'm not that smart. We added another... So we need to do plus 360. Plus 360 degrees. I'm a genius. That worked. Ha. Okay. Now we need to repair every single frame, and we can actually, what we did here. Ah, okay. Okay, so we basically have to do this now for every moment. -360 degrees. No, plus. Well, actually, that's not going to help us. Let's just... Why is this moving at all? Shouldn't the hand just be held still? We can just copy this. There's no reason to have any sort of animation going on here. So... You know, speaking of holds, this we're going to hold for the full stand. So here is where a little bit of motion starts. Anything else in between we don't need. And here we have everything solid. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, so these are the the small and big catastrophes that you might have to fix in between. And this actually continues. Hold this. Hold this. This one we already kind of sort of fixed. Okay, there's a lot of weird stuff happening with the wrist. This might not be the only 360 degree problem. You see what the lower arm is doing here? Whoop! It's rotating way too much. And then we're counter animating in the wrist. That is what's looking so funny. So this arm has no reason to rotate at all, but while I was doing the posing, I wasn't noticing it, you know, because his arm just looks the same from all sides. And so I posed this arm, and then I had to counterpose the hand in the other direction. And now I can see that they're kind of moving against each other. So, yeah, that's what a computer does. It does exactly what you tell him to do. And if you tell a computer to, you know, two things that look visually the same, but have completely different coordinates, stuff like this happens. So now we have to decide, do we want to tuck this shift away, or do we want to continue to roll with what we're doing here? Let's actually check back in the T-pose. Okay, so so if you have a flat extension of the hand right here, then it's at the top. So it should kind of always be at the top. Oh boy. Technical hoopla, troublesome sometimes, indeed, indeed. Good question. Would Into the Spider-Verse style key animation to avoid splining too much be considered a lazy shortcut? Well, the thing about the level of quality that they're doing it in Into the Spider-Verse, I would argue it's not a shortcut at all. So, especially because I'm pretty sure that, especially doing fast scenes, they probably sometimes use splining and then chop it up afterwards. Because the thing about the curves is, it's kind of weird. They are really good, they're really helpful at very subtle motions and very big motions. It's sometimes in the in-between where you have to fight them the most. In the kind of like mediocre, how I get from pose A to pose B, curves are sometimes at a position where you have to fight them the most to nudge them a little bit more towards being more snappy and nudge them a little bit more to being more fluent. But if you have something very subtle, like breathing, they do have breathing in the Spider-Verse, even subtle breathing in the Spider-Verse, and I would imagine that they probably let the computer interpolate and then they chopped it up and, you know, only kept the most important frames. And if you have big swooping motion, the cool thing about interpolation is if the computer is rotating around a joint like my elbow, it's going to do that perfectly. A big rotation around the elbow, the interpolation will always look right and gorgeous and better than what you sometimes can do when you do frame-by-frame animation. So I think both styles have its very laborious moments. And you can cheat, bring the strengths of one into the other. Like one thing I feel like the Spider-Verse style blocking is really good at is strong poses, because you are concerned with just getting the best, most pushed poses. So in a way, I feel like Spider-Verse is actually more problematic because you get the disadvantages of both. You work in a technology that is made for interpolation and made for splining, and you put in stuff from 2D animation that are sometimes easier to do in 2D mode, most of the times easier to do in 2D animation. So very well executed Into the Spider-Verse animation. I don't consider lazy at all. If anything, you made it harder on yourself because you now have two things that you need to get to perfection in the worst case. Yeah. Did that answer the question? Sometimes I feel like I stray too much, blabber too much about all kinds of stuff that comes to my mind. Yeah, so I think in the case of the forearm, the non-nudge side should probably point up the most, and in case of the back arm, the upper arm, the side without the triangle should probably point up the most, and in case of the lower arm, the side with the triangle should probably point up most. So let's see what we did wrong. This one is wrong. So yeah, we start wrong and we turn into the correct way, which is having the triangle up there. Yeah, this might be, by the way, if you remember, one thing that I did frequently is reset the bones. You know, every now and then I would take a bone, or I would take the entire arm and just completely reset it. And I do that to avoid things like this. Because the worst case that could happen is that you twist your arm 360 degrees, and then 2 seconds later you twist it another 360 degrees, and then another couple hundred frames later you twisted another 360 degrees, and now congratulations, you have to de-twist your arm and roll it back. Yeah, and I guess you could also pay attention to the values, like if you have values above 360 degrees, plus 360 degrees, minus 360 degrees, that is usually not a good sign. For some controllers it is, like if you move the character around and you like in a game you animate the entire root bone or something like that, then you can do that. But usually if you see like 360 degrees rotation, you should probably check out what happened. So here we're gonna fix it backwards now. And the problem is that this is only a 180 degree turn. But you know what? We can probably math this again. So this is correct. This is incorrect. We have minus 3 degrees. And here we have minus 90 degrees. So if I go another minus 90 degrees here. Oh boy, this is the wrong X. Oh, it's over 2 axes? Is it? Oh, that's actually not the culprit. The culprit is the other one, the Z. Oh no, it is both. Is it both? Animating over 2 axes, always the most fun. All right. Does everybody understand what's happening here? Let me do a quick recap. Apologies for the people who already know this. So the best kind of curves, the best for splining is if you animate one axis only. So if this is the y-axis of your rotation, that's wonderful, because you can just read the numbers and you go from 0 degrees to 90 degrees and it just animates beautifully like this. The problem is if you turn this arm, and you can't do that in real life. Like I cannot rotate my upper arm and then rotate this one up. That doesn't work. But problems arise if you do that in your character. And if you all of a sudden, you know, you turn the entire coordinate system and then you turn this part back. Now this is between two axes. It's between this and this axis. And all of a sudden you have two axes that are responsible for bending the arm like this. Worst case, you have three axes doing something. And then these curves are very, very difficult to work with. So this is set to local. Let's see. Gimbal. Yeah, the problem is, see, there's no axis right now. Neither the green, nor the red, nor the blue axis just rotate the arm. And that is a gimbal problem. Let's see if the axis later, a little bit later, or a little bit earlier look better. Yeah, this one is better. You see, I can just take the green axis and move it along like this. So maybe this is actually the position that I would like to steal. Let's see how the default position behaves. The default position also has the green axis. See, this is perfect. Oh, the wrist does do a counter motion. What is happening here? Why is it not reacting? No idea why it's not doing anything, but oh well. So, what does it all mean? It means whenever we see the green axis like this, good. Whenever we see the green axis like this, not good. So, and one way to counteract it is to go to a moment where we're like, okay, we want to restore this one to how it was before. Blue one is probably the one moving both the green axis and the blue one, yeah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So what is the state that we want to have? We want to have the blue one be the actually up and down one. The green one to rotate, and this one. Okay. I don't want to say anything, but in 2D animation, I would just be done by drawing it correctly. I mean, if I would have done this correctly, this would be not a problem. There are also automatic tools that can fix problems like this. You know, smart people have built scripts to calculate this into a more neutral position and adjust your animation. But I didn't research in time to find anything for Blender that does that, so we have to do it manually. What did we say? Like, we were happy with this. Thank you, Afrotron, for subscribing. So that's how we want it. Then let's just copy the last known position where we're like, okay, this looks dandy and correct. Paste it here, and oh my god, it's a mess. Okay, it's also this position. Yum, yum. What What's going on here? Okay, so let's reset that as well. Ah, okay, so the arm is shrinking in that time. Because we had to make it substantially longer to hit this pose. But yeah, did you see that? Now we can see the counter animation. We made this lower bone behave correctly. It's just being lifted up a little bit. And now we can see the counter animation that we did on the wrist. And we need to reset that too. And we can probably steal it from a previous one. This one's going to 0, 2. Aha. And now you can see the hand just being slightly lifted. All this for this little movement. This is how animation can be sometimes.
Simply being...
Yeah, and now of course it's always twisting back whenever it has a chance. To motivate us a little bit more, let's have a look at what we already did. I know it's not much, but I just want to have a look.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think
Yeah, and then it's horribly floating. We're gonna fix that by setting more holes. First, we need to propagate that fix that we did by taking both the wrist and the lower arm. Just copy that and copy that from here, paste it into. You seeing the upper arm? Whoop. The upper arm is also, we weren't finished with the upper arm. So let's take it step by step. Let's take the upper arm. We remember biceps is here between the nudges. So it's rotating back. It shouldn't. Let's just rotate it down a little bit. Put it here. And here it kind of doesn't matter because all that interpolation looks good. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Now we have to fix the lower arm. And again, we take the nudge, the triangle here as an orientation. It should stay to our side if we want to stay in the same axis, same orientation. And as you can see, it does not. You see that by pulling the green one over, I am destroying the blue axis. What do I actually need to do? Let's see. So everything works coming into here. You know what? Let's set everything to 0 and see what happens. And now we're just going to use the blue one and the red one, and we should have the green one to rotate, but that is not necessary because the nudge is showing in the right direction. We just need to fix the wrist afterwards. We could have also just copied this keyframe, put it here, and just have it drop a little bit or whatever is happening here. Yeah, they're just dropping, the wrist is doing whatever. You know what, let's just about that for everything. And then all we have to do is to fix the wrist, and the wrist we can take, I think we can just take from here. Putting it here. Putting it here. And here. Is it going through the... Yeah, it's going through. And here we have another impossible turn. It should actually turn the other way around. You see that? It's turning the back way. I'm a little bit frustrated right now, I have to say. I didn't imagine the stream to be going this way. I was so looking forward to just putting some holes and have a nice looking animation, but no! No, we have to look at some coordinates and fix them. Can we fix this with math? So if not with math, with math, very important difference. So if you don't want it to rotate that way, we don't want it to rotate that way, which is actually this is the one where it is almost 90-degree turned, and then it goes to... Yeah, it goes to over 180 degrees turned. And the green axis is the one responsible. Yeah. There's a German coming out in me. We have so many fun, you know, those nothing sounds like and We have ach und tja. 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 That's my favorite form of well. It's tja. Tja. Da machst du nix. Tja. To get from minus 92 to 177, if I subtract 360 degrees, it should look the same. Oh. That's not good. That's also not good. Because I also have to subtract another axis. So, minus 360 degrees. Actually, plus 360 degrees? Why did this work? Wait, is this how it was before? Okay. And maybe if I also do something with this one, minus 360. No, that seems too high. Plus 360. Maybe. No. That made. Did this make it worse? Yes, it did. What about this one? Minus 360 degrees. Whoa! This looks not very good because we are counter animating over two axes. That is what I was telling you about earlier. Ah. And one of the reasons we're counter animating is I do want to keep like everything from here on looks good. We're gonna keep that.
Absolutely correct. Being absolutely correct.
Horribly floaty.
It's simply being absolutely being being absolutely correct.
I think all we can do is just fix that arc. Yeah, good enough. Good enough for now. And now we can continue with our hold mission. So, what do we need to hold here?
Simply be.
Okay, so this I really wanted to stress. I think we actually might want this to be a little bit faster even. I think we can go really fast because this is a really cartoony character. Did I mess things up? I don't think so. So this is a really cartoony character, so I think we are justified in doing like really quick things like this. And then we can just hold this till here. And we really have this
Being being
and you really have this impression that he's like, getting an idea.
Being simply being.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so here we have that big turn, and this might just be okay with not holding it, but I want to exaggerate things. I want to hold him up here for a little bit, and I want to see that in my keyframes. So let's key all of this, go a little bit further, and just for 2 frames we held it.
Being
Oh, it's barely noticeable, so maybe we should hold it. Let's, you know what? Let's go crazy. Let's try this.
Being being.
Or the whole thing needs to shift a little bit, and then we need to be on the floor here, and then we hold the pose on the floor. When he starts with absolutely correct.
Being absolutely correct. Simply being
Maybe we need to forget about this long hold for now. And just
being absolutely correct.
Just do some curve magic later. Some curve of voodoo, I say.
Being absolutely correct. Simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yes,
and all of this floating that is happening there is off camera, so we're gonna hold this. Absolutely correct. We hold it here. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then when we come back, we do this.
correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is.
Okay, so he drops down, and then after he drops down, we need to hold that and then jump into whatever is happening next.
I think that what you're hearing is just a
Whoop. And I think we can just hold this for a little bit, so we can have him
I think that what you're hearing is
drop him into this maybe a little later. And sometimes you notice like the frame that we blocked was like here, and we shift a hold a little bit before and a little bit outwards. That is a pattern that I noticed happens a lot. Like you don't hit the timing exactly. Sometimes you have the pose that you planned in your blocking, you have that in the middle of a hold for cartoony animations.
I think that what you're hearing is just a
yeah. And this, what is happening here? I think we might have to return to blocking for a second to decipher this. No, not. Oh, no, constant was right. So.
what you're hearing is just a
Okay, so the motion is starting here. So I cannot key this moment. I cannot key this in interpolation, because if I switch this to Bézier, you see that there's some weird in-between stuff already happening. I don't want to key whatever dangerous, weird stuff is happening here. I want a crisp, clear hold keyframe, and the best way to get this is in constant interpolation, or like no interpolation. So we can go in and just mark this as the beginning of this animation. And from here to there, we allow interpolation. So let's switch that back again to Bézier, and then we can see.
I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Good. Doop, doop, doop. Whoop. Okay. Alt, move. Alt, move. Actually, I feel like this is a hold. We need to go back to good old constant. Let's throw this out. This is actually the beginning. This is lip sync. What is happening here?
Who knows beyond all.
Who knows beyond all doubt. Okay. Let's just put this one in, and then the mouth will. Oh, the mouth doesn't close. Why is that? Do we have? Didn't we start with selection sets? Bones. Where was that? Yeah, we have selection sets, but we don't have selection sets for the mouth. I was too lazy to do that, and now I'm paying the price. And you know what? I actually might not do it now either. This is a problem for later. Because you know what we can do? We can make a keyframe, key everything, just switch that one over here. And now we still don't have the mouth closed. Why not? Because it wasn't keyed here. All channels. What? Why do we not have the keyframes for the mouth? But we do. Here, if this isn't the mouth, then I don't know what is. Oh, and do you see this witchcraft down here? Hook eye? The eyes are out of sync with stuff. This is also not fun. We should probably repair that before it kicks us in the butt. Oh, what is this? Eye. Why is there so much? I mean, there's actually not much happening with the eyes. Well, let's delete this. And this is the hand that is allowed to do that. So I guess this live stream needs a different title. Not splining, but the horrors before splining can even begin.
Just a person who knows beyond all doubt. Who knows beyond all. Is just a person who knows beyond. A person who knows beyond. Just a person who knows. A person who knows.
There is this moment where the body goes up from here to here.
A person who knows.
I think it should be later. That might be part of the problem. A person who knows.
Who knows beyond all doubt.
Okay. Let's see if that works better. Busy.
A person who knows beyond all.
It doesn't.
Hearing is just a person who knows. A person who knows. Who knows beyond all doubt that they are just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Okay. Good enough for this pass. Now we're gonna continue. We have some floaty motion here. Floaty. That is because this should be a snappy little animation, and it is not. It is not a snappy little animation. Oh, here's another trick. So if you've already animated a little bit of an overlap, like the hand settling, you can see this is probably just the hand straightening out. You can get that pose as a hold pose if you take the main pose, copy that, put it to where the hold is supposed to be. And then, because this is not the straightened out hand, we need to take the keyframes from the straightened out hand and copy them into that pose. And now we combine the base pose and the base pose. What I am, my Tuffy duck. We combined the base pose with the settle that we eventually end up in. Yep.
All doubt that they are right.
Ah, wonderful. That they are right. Maybe this can be a little bit later.
That they are right.
Wonderful. So,
And all doubt that they are right.
we lost a lot of the snappiness, but at least now it's not that total catastrophe that we saw earlier. Let's have a watch through right now. Actually, should save this file right now as version 9. We're on version 9 right now. going back to the beginning. And let's see. And let's have a watch.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in
Very
that
mechanical.
voice? And there never is.
But
There
that's
really
kind of
never
what we're
is.
after.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't there a little bit?
Okay, this is something that we can be happy with for now. It is not great animation. So here's the thing. I feel like there's also kind of like a mistake in thinking that we sometimes make is, and it could actually lead to us spending way too much time on like a little area on the timing chart, on the timeline, is that we kind of have this expectation that animation should look good quickly. But it's not, it's more like if you are sculpting and you have marble and you start to chisel. For most of the time, it's not gonna look like it will look in the end. Like if you chisel a lion out of marble, you probably do like the rough shapes first, and then you kind of mark things like this is where the nose is supposed to be, this is where the muscles, this is like where the leg comes out, but you don't define the muscles yet. And this is the sort of thinking that I have for the animation workflow. I don't want a perfect kind of animation to fall out of this immediately, especially for 3D animation. 2D animation and stop motion is a little bit different because, you know, what you draw, you have drawn, and you kind of need to sculpt the motion very, very closely to how it's going to look in the end. In 3D, you don't have to do that. You can have, like what we've done right now, you know, we've taken a certain degree of floatiness out of it by defining the holes. And next pass, we're going to take more of the floatiness out by playing around with the curves a little bit. For example, that could be a good next step. Some people also now like to do the overlaps. So yeah, basically you are picking a goal for your next pass through the animation, and you try to only focus on that goal. You don't want a perfect animation to fall out of it. You just want it to get a little bit better in regard to that one goal. And that's the cool thing in 3D and in interpolated animation in general, that you can jump all over the place and kind of improve things there. I do think one thing that is very bothering me, like this cushion floatiness of 3D always bothers me. I think it will look already a lot better if we have the positions where he folds back, like where gravity takes over and he slams into the ground. Oh, there's my cat visiting us. Welcome, Rainbow. Where was I? Yeah. As soon as you come in, we already lose focus, huh? How you doing? How you doing, little girl? We are going to put at least some curve work in now. Yeah, I think that's something that I would like to do, especially because I haven't looked at the curve editor in Blender in a long time, and we can be amazed together at what's going on in Blender right now.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And
yeah, for example, here, this is going to like really require some good definition in the curves, especially when it comes back and slams everything just down into the ground. This we can make look quite a lot better. Let's actually switch this one to the curve graph editor. That's how it's called. Now we don't have a way to select things anymore. So let's... I need to rethink my window layout, but for now, let's just put one in here real quick for the viewport. My cat is looking very intensely at the screen. I'm getting kind of scared. I'm wondering what she's trying to accomplish there. Okay, so... The curves that I'm especially interested in is... Let's zoom in on this part. So, let's orient us first and see what's actually happening. So, we have the motion starting here, going into a breakdown, going up, and then it's not quite held. We have a little bit of a dip down, then we have a complete hold, and then we come out of the pose. We could get rid of this complete hold, I think, if we drag out the curves a lot. So now we have, now you can see that cushioning.
In that voice?
See, this is that floatiness.
Malice in that voice?
That 3D floatiness, because we don't have the definition of gravity here. We don't have the feet just slamming into the ground. And to get that, my cat is putting her behind in my face, which I do not appreciate. No, not at all. So let's see. Let's get these two and focus on them. My cat just farted. She came up here. Is purring? Can you hear that? That's a purr. And farted. For good measure. We're doing a little bit of ASMR here. You can hear that, right? Oh, now she stopped. Why did you stop? Yeah. Okay, so here we have the keyframe. So what we can do is first of all drag the right side of this out a lot more. And what that will do is it will keep the legs up longer. If you compare this here, we already have quite the big offset at 53. If we select this, oh, can I undo this? Yeah. You can see here with quite the big, like, look at where the legs are at the moment. If I pull this one out, the legs are rising up again. Ooh, I should actually pull them straight up. You see how they move a little bit further up? That's what I'm after. Whoop. And then they should slam into the ground. And we can do that. Maybe we should be a little bit more selective. And mostly do that in the legs. This is what we can use our selection sets for. We have both legs. Select. No, how does this work again? Do I just have to click them? I think so. So, legs. Select. Select. And why not the arm too? Select and select. Okay. And now if you look at the end of the curve, that's what we're going into. And here we want that side of the curve. We actually want to... Can I just break it in one direction? No. Handle type. Vector. I think that maybe works. Let's see.
Malice in that voice and
Yeah.
malice in that voice and of malice in that voice. Malice in that voice and
Just look at the feet.
malice in that voice and
That's what I'm after, this plug.
malice in that voice and malice in that voice and malice in that voice.
So the head is actually moving far too early, so we might actually hold the head. And
Malice in that voice.
this is
and
our first
malice in that
trace
voice.
of an overlap. There also is probably another, like the shoulder controller move in. We might also want to prevent that. Oh boy. Going even further down the spine. Let's see what's going on there. I kind of want to move him fairly late. Yeah, that might be a nice...
Malice in that voice. A bit of malice in that voice. A bit of malice in that.
What is that dip? What is that dip here? Malice in that voice?
Malice in that voice and
Yeah.
bit of malice in that voice and
Now, it
Bit of
feels a little bit too heavy for my taste, because we're going for a kind of cartoony feel.
a little bit of malice in that voice and of malice in.
Maybe if you flip this a little bit earlier. Why is this not grabbing everything?
Malice.
We could also start the motion later.
Malice in. A bit of malice in that voice. Malice in that.
What are those keyframes that we can't grab right now? What is going on there? Huh. Can we now move everything? Yes, we can. moved this earlier and this one here.
A little bit of malice in that voice. Sort of malice in.
Hmm.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
And we could already think about some big overlaps. I think a big overlap to definitely consider would be the head arriving later. So, like here. Oh, did I not select the head? What's going on here? Oh, I moved everything. No, I only want to move the head to be a little later. One of the hold frames? I mean this one here. So.
Malice in that.
So we have the feet
Of malice in that voice.
shooting up and then the head following
Of malice in that voice.
after. And maybe the head could sink down quicker because the head is relatively heavy. So if this is actually the sunken down position of the head, let's take it here. And then we have
Malice in that voice.
overshoot, then we need to hold it for when it's actually time to sink down more and go to the next pose.
Malice in that voice. And
now it's
that
doing
voice.
that floaty thing again because we forgot about the other spine, the rest of the spine. Shoot there, and we sink down here. It should probably a spine be an entire spine thing. So let's key this, key the sinking down, take all of this. It's still overshooting. So this might be a curve problem. If we are noticing that we have keyed everything and there's still motion happening, then that's probably because of some tangents. So let's look in that area from here. To there. We have different tangent lengths. Ah, here we go. Those tangents are not plateauing. They are following. We shoot into them here. Let's see if I can show that more clearly.
Listen that.
So they actually are plateauing, aren't they? No, what is that red one? See this one? This is not a plateau. It's shooting into it and is continuing to move, and then it moves back up again. So all of these should be a plateau. Auto clamped. Yeah, now it's all of these tangents are straight, and we have a clear
Alice in that voice, and Alice in that
at least
voice.
in theory. Something is still. Something is still happening. Ah, same problem on the other side, of course. You can see that this tangent goes up. That's where the dent is coming from. We don't want that. We want this to be snapped out flat like this. So, same goes for this one. We need to auto clamp. Yeah. Now we just have the feet moving ever so slightly towards the ground. And
Of malice in that voice.
now we can tweak the durations here a little bit.
Alice in that voice, and there never is. There really never. A little bit of malice in.
Okay, overshoot and then settling down. Maybe we shoot into the pose a little earlier. And then we just settle down.
A little bit of malice in that voice.
Yeah.
A bit of malice in that voice.
Okay. I hope I could make it a little bit clear. The kind of work that I'm interested right now in the curves is to define the plateaus. I never want a curve to overshoot. I never want to have something like this, like not having a point here and not having a point here. That just makes the animation very difficult to define. I never want to have that. I now need to define when do I go into a plateau and when is a curve just shooting along like it probably has to do here. Like here, you know, if you have an ease kind of situation, you probably want this. You want this. This is actually a breakdown. You want this to be the fastest part or one of the fastest part of the motion. So this should never be a plateau. But if you have something at hold, you are looking for these plateaus. So that is currently what I'm looking for. We're gonna do a little bit of overlaps like we did right now with the head, but only the big part. Big as in noticeable. You know, sometimes just a twitch in a hand can also be the big overlap that we want to have. But in this case, the head is big and heavy, and that's where we want to see the overlap.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in?
Kind of already want to add a little bit of a moving hold because I feel like it's so important here. Just a little bit of a settle.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice? Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that? Oh, isn't there a little bit of...
And even that could be snappy, you know, even that could be like just during the oh isn't. Could be like,
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice?
yeah.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there.
Yeah, we won't do voice lip sync until the very end, because as soon as you do lip sync, it looks finished. As soon as you do lip sync, it's very easy to be like, oh, it's good enough. The mouth is moving. The words are coming out of the character's mouth. I'm done. So we're actually going to do lip sync very last because it will make it look finished. the other way around, it will now make it look kind of unfinished, and we kind of need to ignore that a little bit, that the mouth is gonna be a little bit floaty. We might want to switch it actually to stepped, so we don't get that confused by it.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
So how do we now get back here? I think we could once again take the spine and have that move a little bit earlier. You know what? Let's make a selection set for the head. We're gonna make a new one. Just the head. Assign. I should have done that ages ago. And now we're gonna go and just do the spine. Not this one. What is going on? So this one, and this one. And this is the last time I have to select it that way, because now I can go new set. And this is the spine. Assign. So from now on, we can go select the head and also select the spine. And what did I want to do? I wanted to start the motion similar to what we did before. We're going to offset the head this time to start moving a little bit earlier. That might be too early.
Malice in that voice?
It's too early. Or just have it end up in this position later.
That voice and...
Or take the hold completely out of the upper body so it doesn't even hold
that
for
voice
it.
and...
So what we have here is a little bit of an elbow drift. And that looks especially bad because we have the character supposedly relaxing, and while he is relaxing, the left side here comes a little bit more unrelaxed. That is not selling what we're currently trying to communicate here.
It's in that voice and... in that voice and...
I should have actually caught that during posing. But you know, some things will only reveal, like especially like body tension. 3D gives you like very subtle body tension moments. Let's see real quick. Oh, this is actually IK, so I can probably relax it just by pointing this controller down. So it's animating from here to there. I think if I point it down, it should look more relaxed. This is just location, is it? Let's get rid of... Oh, it should actually already be at this point. So, a little breakdown here, or instead of a breakdown, it already... Location. Ah, the joys of IK. Oh boy. We're counter animating against something in the body. Let's have a look at everything real quick. So, the devil's in the detail, as always. But this is the correct controller. It's just an unfortunate interpolation. We could have a look at the curves real quick, see what is happening here. Actually, let's make this a little bit smaller because this is not useful for the workflow that we're using right now. And what do we have here? This should actually be a plateau. I think that might be the problem, actually. So first of all, it has to be the same here and here. And now it is a plateau. That's good. See, it's going a little bit too far up here. Let's see if we can fix that by nudging the curves a little bit. So, okay, this makes it go up more if we go in that direction. So what if we pull this back and the other curve out more? Yeah. This is better. Yeah.
That voice and
okay, now it's just a general timing problem. It goes a little bit too fast.
that voice and there never is that voice and there never that voice and
Okay.
oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice and
Let's start this one earlier. I'm surprised that, do you see there's this last moment in the spine motion where it gets really visible that we're shifting over to the left? I wonder why that happens so late, but we can select the spine, select, and let's also take the head. This is kind of okay looking, so the problem might be in the curves. And we have two plateaus on both sides. Nothing particularly... Ah! This is odd. Do we have more like that? Yeah. These are the outliers, you see? Those tangents are a lot longer. Probably because we copied them over from somewhere else. You can also reset them. I think I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna grab them right now the way that they are and push them in a little bit. Yeah. Okay. All right. That still didn't fix much, did it?
That voice and
Oh, it's resetting our wonderful position here. We don't want that.
and they're never
Okay.
in that voice and they're never voice and they're never in.
Yeah, getting closer. And as I said, we don't have to make it perfect in this walkthrough. We're just chiseling a little bit more in our marble sculpture that is this animation.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really.
There's something that I do want to try when going from this pose to this pose. I think I don't want to interpolate. I think I just want him to jump from here to there. That's a very 2D cartoony thing, but I think it could be very fun. Let's try it. So let's key everything before and after, get rid of that breakdown, and then just have him go from one frame to the other.
There really never is.
Yeah.
There really never is.
Got rid of one of the head shakes, so we might want to change that again.
There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing?
Never is.
So what is...
There really never is.
So what is that?
There really never is. There is. There really never is. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
Okay, maybe that is a little bit too strange. I saw that in Wreck-It Ralph, the first part, they did cool stuff like this. So I kind of want to emulate, you know, the what are they called? The Nicelanders? Kind of want to replicate a little bit of that feeling. So maybe if we do a little bit of anticipation. What is that pink ring? I don't want that. So
There really never.
how does it look with a little
There really
bit
never.
of anticipation?
There never is. There really never.
No. That does not work as I thought it would. I remember that in the Wreck-It Ralph interviews, you know, the making of, they actually said that these sorts of jumps from one pose to another, they were actually really difficult to pull off.
There never is. There really never is. It's.
So one thing we could do is make sure that the head shake is really strong. So let's deselect everything, just select the head. I'm so glad we made these selection sets. And look at the curves. The curves for this entire section, I guess. Let's see what's going on. Isn't there a way to make them appear closer than they are? A preview range. Okay. So, basically, let's just push the snappiness here. Can I select the right tangents? Select, or the left tangents? Select before current for select more, select less. What is select more, select less? Oh. Uh-huh. So select more selects the 2 frames to the left and the right. Interesting, but not quite what I need. Select. Why does that not exist? I would like to select the right side of the tangent. Maybe it's just a Google search away. Let's see. Blender, select right side of tangents of keyframe. This is not the best search query in the world. Moving only one side of tangents for multiple keyframes. That sounds interesting. Stack Overflow to the rescue. How do I select Reddit? Help me, Reddit. How do I select only handles on one side? You have to box select the keyframes? No. Why is there not a keyboard shortcut? Okay, this was 5 years ago. Breaking tangents. How to move all handles. Huh. He says learning programs is like 90% looking up things on Google. Yeah. And to my shame, I have to confess that I also occasionally a lot talk to ChatGPT. Because sometimes it's quicker than Google. Actually, why not? Let's try that. So I do have huge problems with AI, just for the record, but I'm still using it because it's so much quicker than Google in many things. Google has become so horrible at finding stuff, which, I mean, isn't that the one thing it's supposed to do? Hey, ChatGPT, how is the weather where you are? I hope you are doing well. How do I select only the right sides of a tangent for a selected keyframe in Blender? I hope you had a good start into the new year. Let's see what it says. It says, thank you for your kind words. I'm doing well and I hope you had a wonderful start to the new year too. How nice. As for the weather, I don't experience it personally, but I'm always here and ready to assist you. Now, regarding to your question about selecting keyframes in Blender. Select keyframes in Graph Editor, right click and select what you work with. When the F curves, press T and ensure that the handles visible. Select the right side of the tangent. If you want to work specifically on the right side of the tangent after the keyframe, you can simply right-click on the handle and choose to... ChatGPT. Yeah, I know that I can right-click on the right side of the tangent. I do know that. A tangent without selecting the handles, you can use the key map settings to isolate left or right handles. One way is to press V to change the handle type. No, I don't want to break the tangent. Okay. Let's... Oh, ChatGPT. But what if I select multiple keyframes and I want to shift the selection only to the right handle? Is there a shortcut? Keyboard shortcut. Keyboard shortcut for that. Oh, ChatGPT, give me answers. By the way, if somebody in the chat knows, just tell me, please. But what if I select multiple keyframes and I want to shift the selection only to the right handle? Is there a keyboard shortcut for that? I can't be more clear, can I? Hello? ChatGPT, please answer me. Here's how to do it. Box selection mode. Activate the handle selection. I guess if I do this, it only selects handles, but it selects the handles from the other side as well. There is no keyboard shortcut, I think, is the answer. Man, what am I even doing? Like, I completely forgot what we were here for. Oh yeah, we wanted to make this snappier, the shaking of the head.
There really never is. It is. There really never is.
Yeah. It kinda works. ChatGPT is Googling. Yeah, I do get the impression. Yeah, that's a kind of wise... that's very wise. Hilly says, I don't trust ChatGPT half of the time, it's lying. That's the big problem with generative text, that it states misinformation with such confidence. And it's interesting that the more intelligence these models get, they actually, well, they're never intelligent. They're text generators. They just predict the next likely token. Interestingly, the next likely token in a bigger LLM sometimes seems to be I don't know, which is good, but yeah. And I mean, it still tried to help us, but you know, I know that I can make a selection. I know that. So if I press H, how long does that? What did I do? I hit the curves. Oh, I didn't. I don't wanna hide curves. Ah. Press the H key to switch the handle selection. Okay, undo. Did we permanently hide curves? When do I have to press H? That does not seem to be right. Okay. Yeah, H is hide. That makes sense. Probably hit something that I didn't want to. Like, Shift H unhiding? Ooh. Control H. View unhide. Oh boy. Ah, okay. If I hide something, I can make it show up again here. Okay. Okay, so much about trusting generative AI with animation work. Okay. Let's continue. Where are the curves? The tangents. I don't see the tangents. Where did you go? Oh boy. It's gonna be a long live stream. Alt H is revealed. Ah, Alt H. But it's all revealed, so all good. Where did the tangents go? Okay, it's auto clamped, and auto clamp doesn't show tangents. Could that be? Interpolation mode. No, handle type. Aligned. What did I do? Ah, show handles is Control H while I was tapping on the keyboard. Oh my. Okay, so let's continue this. Those two. Let's zoom in on them. Push that one side over. Push the other side over. I heard they did a lot of animation features in 4.0, and I'm kind of curious to see what they did.
There really never is.
That was the location. Let's see that again.
Really never is.
So what is
There really never is.
Okay. And I already screwed it up with the first edit. Okay. So. Well, we learned how to hide stuff, so let's hide the location. And why not also hide the scale? And only do rotation. And you know what? We can also limit the axis, can't we? X? Yeah, only give me the x-axis, please. And same here, gx, only give me the x-axis, and there we go.
There really never is.
What is now the problem? problem is that one of those is slightly pointing down. Autoclamped. Okay. Oh no, we forgot one. That's the problem. This one. Yeah.
There really never is.
Okay. Screw this, we're starting over with this curve work. So, selecting all of them, saying autoclamped. Back to neutral grounds. And now...
There really never is.
Okay. Now we always go GX, pull this one over. GX, pull that one over. GX. 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 Oh, I should select something first. GX. Okay.
There really never is.
So what is...
That is what I was looking for.
There is. There really never is.
So what is...
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So...
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I...
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice?
Okay, same here. We can do a little bit for this head knot right here. Boop, boop. Here we go. G, X, pulling it out. Then G, X, pulling it out.
Oh, isn't there a little bit?
That might have been too much. But I do like the...
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in...
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being...
One thing that stands out to me the most right now is another lip pose, the O. This is very sudden. So let's give it at least 2 more frames. Maybe it's 1 too many. So it dips down and then up. Maybe it should just dip up.
Being... Simply... Being...
Maybe it's just too much. We could copy the... It's mostly the head, I would assume. Yeah. It is... Or actually, we copy the target pose of the head and we have it dip down. It's too much.
Being.
That looks good too.
Being. Aptly.
Sometimes less is more.
Being. Simply. Simply.
What are all these frames that we're forgetting here?
Being. Simply. Being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is.
Can we actually step the animation? I think that might be interesting to see. To put a modifier on it, there must be a way. Is it in here? There must be a way to make modifiers to a curve. Frame step? Oh, that's the snap. Okay, yeah, snap is good. We want the snap. Create pose assets key. No, those are bone constraints. I've seen this before. I'm gonna find it before the next live stream so we can actually step this on twos and see how it looks, because that would actually bring a lot of the 2D feeling back into it. Easing mode. That's my curse. I do know that things exist, but I am no longer so familiar with Blender that I can still find it immediately. But that's actually, you know, that's always the good news. If you are hesitant about learning new software, you will just recognize so much. And that is basically what it's all about, to recognize things and know where things are is coming back fairly easy, and you can always look it up. Actually, should we give ChatGPT another chance? How do I apply motion? What is the name? Constraints to a motion curve, e.g. to make the animation stepped on twos. It's giving me a Python script. That's not it. ChatGPT was very disappointing today, but it's 4.0 mini right now. So it's the dumbest one that is currently available. Anyway.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there ne- Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Okay. I think it's, if we think about the marble block that we're chiseling away, we're kind of making progress. It's still looking pretty floaty and rough and unfinished, but that is kind of what is to be expected right now.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
Yeah, I'm especially happy that, we already have quite a bit at the front right here. And from there, we're only going to develop it further. Yeah, if you like the way how I think about animation and explore the animation principles and workflows and stuff like that, and you want to learn more, you might want to consider to join our Patreon, because on patreon.com/animatorisland, you can not only give a few bucks here and there if you want me to make more tutorials, more live stream. It really, every buck helps me to make more content for this YouTube channel for everyone. But if you are especially interested in getting that personal push to improve your work, to boost your skills, then you might be interested in our group mentoring. You can find out more on animatorisland.com/group mentoring. Each and every month, the group mentoring group comes together, and it's a live call where you can show what you are currently working on. That could be an animation, a character design, a story idea. It could just be the idea for an animation, or maybe you have a general question, how to start a career in animation, how to build your portfolio, and you want to know some strategies, what skills to improve, what things to do to get hired by a studio. I'd be very happy to help you with that. If that sounds interesting to you, you can check out more on animatorisland.com/group mentoring. We have a very friendly, very awesome group there. And yeah, not only I give you my feedback and draw over your stuff and animate over it, but also the other people in the group. We have some really awesome creative people there, also give you their perspectives and their ideas, and it's a good time, and we all help each other boosting our work and our skills. So that is the group mentoring tier on Patreon. That is the highest tier that you can get there right now. Yeah, please check that out if that is interesting to you. And with that, I think, unfortunately, for today, it's probably time to end this. Thank you so much, each and every one of you who was here. It was, as always, a big pleasure to work with you, to react to the chat. And yeah, I'm always looking forward to hanging out with you like this once again. As always, if there are any questions, comments, please let me know. And I'm always happy to answer anything, any question that you might have about art and animation. And we're gonna do many more of these live streams until we have this pesky animation done. So yeah, let's have one last look at what we did today. I always feel like it's a little bit of a step back going from the blocking, which I felt was already strong, to putting on the curves, but we have to go through this. This is the state that our marble block is currently in, and we need to work on it a little bit more, sculpt a little bit more, and this is what we have so far. Thank you all so very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Oh.